prom night every town meeting.
That doesn't make sense.
I know, but that's the way it
It's a lot
It's
better than
gonna work.
conflicting with the NCAA championship
that's true.
game
That was
on the
not good,
town
Jerry. I'll
meeting,
have to
so,
agree with you
yeah.
on that. That was
My only
awful.
issue with this timetable piece is that we're actually not offering level services.
Yes.
Right,
I'd like to put negative level services
Mm-hmm.
in that document.
I was going to ask that we don't give them a level services budget in November. We give them a budget that includes what we think should be in it, including additions.
The real budget.
Yes,
For
the real
level
budget.
services based on progression from 5 years ago.
But I would say level services plus. In other words, level services plus.
What we need to run the school.
Level services
No. See, we're already behind by 4 years in level services.
Right.
So at this point, we are at a negative level services, -4.
So which level services are
So
we talking about?
Are we
The
giving them a
5 year ago?
-5 level services,
That's a
or are we
good
giving
point.
them a level services budget?
Level services reflecting last year will still be under, will be under
Be
what
negative
last
level
year, so it won't
services.
be level services, it'll be a reduction. So are we looking to a level services budget reflecting like, oh, I don't know, 04, 05? How far do you want to go back?
I think the issue with the term is, we say level services, but I know Carl can tell us that in some areas it isn't level services because we eliminate positions because we need to add 2 paras over this area, so maybe we lose a technology instruction specialist. So we actually, we slide slowly backwards, and we keep saying it's level services.
And we've never restored that
Right.
top piece of the pyramid.
I think just having study periods in middle school is obviously not level services. When their minds are young and like sponges, we're giving them breaks in school, which I never had when I was going to school.
I agree with you.
I love my
So
breaks
at
during
this
school.
point, we're negative level services by 4 years as from when I started. I don't think we can call it level services. I think I'm not going to vote for that. I'll vote for -5 years if that's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
We're going to keep the status quo.
Michael brings up an excellent point. We've expanded the definition of level services
Right.
in recent years. The one aspect, I guess, if you were to ask, what does level services mean? What has been the common thread these last 3 or 4 years that hasn't been reduced?
Staff.
It would be teachers,
Right.
not staff,
Not
but
staff.
teachers.
Yeah.
And even that, you could make an argument, as you've had some shifts in population, that hasn't been exactly level. But our teacher FTE has remained at least level for 3 or 4 years. But our staffing for paraprofessionals, our expense budgets, all those things have gone down. I'm not even talking about inflation, I'm just talking reductions.
Right.
So, I'm appreciative of you bringing that point up, because that term, we shouldn't be fooling people into thinking that
Maybe we can do
truly
away
are.
with that term. Why don't?
My issue is that we give them level services, then they come back and say, we'll take more money out. So, but we're already behind by 4 years. We could be behind by 5 or 6 if we take additional money out of our -4 level services.
Well, I think we should stop the backsliding and make it what it should be.
Well, I sure know that in our comprehensive budget, the preliminary budget that comes out in February, there'll be an extensive set of recommendations on the enhancements that the administration will recommend. It probably would be difficult to detail that out in mid-November, to your point, Karen, but what we could do is, when we issue this, what we want to call this now, when we issue our preliminary budget in November, instead of teasing out all of the enhancements that will be recommended, we could say something such as this. We would first have a line describing what it would cost to replicate something from 4 years ago. So we'll call that I'll have to be creative in the term.
Sure.
But maybe there'll be another line that says anticipated 8.0 new FTE positions, or something that would be not
How
detailed
about just
at this stage.
restoration of level services as of 2005?
Right. I don't think we would be prepared to tease that out in detailed form.
Right.
But I think it's fair to say that in that February budget, you'll see recommendations for expansion, and maybe we'll just kind of try to estimate that in November. And again, because we all know that November number is going to be just best guess for that period.
But just in terms of the study halls at the middle school, and I'm not disagreeing with John that they try to make them as useful as possible, they shouldn't be there. They absolutely
Also-
should not be in middle school.
We also need to stop, we have to take out that expansion piece, because we're not expanding, we're recovering. Very
Okay.
much like a
Right.
hurricane.
Well,
thing,
the
you know.
issue now becomes, though, what are we saying as a committee to Cal? To me, level services, I'm not saying that I'm not in favor of doing something more, is essentially carrying over from one fiscal year to the next, the same, maintaining generally the same class size and not reducing and maintaining all the
Yeah,
same
you're right.
programs. So that, to me, is when I say
that's
level
what we've-
services, that's what I'm talking about.
That's what we've done.
That's what we've done. So are we saying that when we make the proposed budget in November, that we're gonna do more than that?
I guess the point is, we've done that by eliminating other positions that are in maybe less critical areas. You know, I guess that's the best way to put
We've
it.
shrunk it every year.
They're as critical.
Right, but we have to look at
But
them.
we have preserved the
Core, right.
And we've left out the other important
Right.
things that happen
At
here.
Argo, we've shrunk the core too, so.
So we need to give Cal some direction as to what do we want to include in this proposed budget, beyond maintaining programs and class size. What
Well, I
do
think
wanna
maybe we
include?
stop, I think one of the things we might consider is stop using the term level services.
Because we're not providing level services, we're decreasing it every year. Now, I like the word recovery, restoration, not expansion. We're not really expanding, we're reintroducing. Or eliminating.
Well, let's
study
call it a
hall.
restoration budget and then tell Cal what
Yeah, we
wanna
tell the
restore.
superintendent what we want to restore. I have her tell us
Yeah,
what she
right.
thinks we
Right.
should restore as well. So that we have a restoration budget that includes things that we're going to build back in.
Yeah.
You know, we cut 2 days out of the school year, and everybody forgets that.
But I wouldn't
Just cut 'em
mind,
out.
but I wouldn't
Everybody
mind,
didn't forget it.
I mean, I think the 2 days out of the school year gives us, I think it's a harder argument. I'd rather leverage that and maybe bring back the
Right, no, no,
elimination of
right,
study
but I'm
hall,
just
you know what I
saying, to
mean?
cut the budget, we
Yeah.
cut 2 days, we were looking for everywhere, where can we
Right.
cut? Okay, we'll cut 2 days out of the school year. And we just did it like, well,
Yeah,
We
but those
just-
are indirects that affect the entire school. I mean, they're
Right.
direct cuts that we've made.
right.
That only affect specific schools, specific programs.
Right.
You know, so and then we've done other things too, where we're looking on the revenue side, where we're looking at fees and our priorities around fees.
Now, if
So-
John had a foreign language program or something in the 6th grade, we would have fewer studies. If we could restore international cultures and languages, or whatever that, you know, that program we had in the 7th and 8th grade, there'd be fewer studies. It doesn't have to be those courses.
And he's already talked to me about a health curriculum.
A full health curriculum rather than one that's shared with PE. Or, you know, other science or math or whatever it is, you know,
Technology engineering.
technology, engineering, to have these kids sitting in study halls.
I
and
think
it-
it's a good idea. It's just to come up with a number for that type
Right.
of a restoration budget, it's going to be a lot more complicated than what we call quote-unquote a level services budget.
Well, it's not gonna be that much more. Say our goal this year for a restoration budget is to eliminate the sixth grade study hall. That's really just a simple increase. We're gonna introduce a class. We must have an estimate of how much a class would cost.
Well, probably a
That's
couple of,
into-
yeah, that's what we have to find out, a couple of teachers, or what, you know, one
Right,
teacher,
so
a
I don't
couple of
think it's that
teachers.
significant of a number.
But I'm not talking
And-
about a significant number. I'm talking about, we have to, one, as a committee, establish that as a priority. Number two, figure out what it's going to cost. And is that our only priority? Are there others? So there has to be a cost associated with each one of the things that
Sure,
we
sure. No, I
identify as a
understand.
priority, as opposed to Kyle just going back and fitting in a percentage to go level services based on the
But we have till November to
salaries.
get him that
I agree.
information.
And this is all in all in the goals we talked about. You know, one of my priorities would be professional development. I don't think we do enough, and based on what you told us the last meeting at some of the other districts and how much they're doing, I think we're falling behind there.
We are behind.
And it's something that we have cut.
Right, we've cut.
Because we didn't, we go forward with our budget and we get told, well, there isn't that much revenue, so you can't have it. Well,
So why don't we,
we need it.
Mel, why don't we schedule a workshop for in October, have the superintendent talk to the administrators and come in with some ideas. We'll all come in with some ideas. We'll
We
prioritize,
can do that.
figure out what the cost is, and use that as the number for November.
That's what
I
I'd like
think
to do.
that's great.
So if, Carl takes whatever the number is this year, adds what we expect in increases for our negotiated contracts, plus whatever
We know
increase
that
we have for the
cost.
teacher's contract, and then whatever we want to add on top of that, and that's the budget we give them in November. And whether, I think Jerry or Michael's idea, the restoration, maybe we call it Restoration Budget 1.
Yeah.
Because it's not the final restoration budget.
I think the word we used the last time was restore.
Right. Restore. Restore Budget 1.
Restoration.
Yeah, I hate the word recovery. Somehow I think it's a little dishonest.
Yeah. Because you're never going to recover from.
No.
You didn't have the things for 4 or 5 years, so you don't recover those 4 or 5
And
years.
and those things are lost.
Right.
Do you
But
want
I
to schedule
think-
the work? Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, Michael.
Sorry, I think at the same time, maybe we can look in other areas where we can be more efficient within that budget. Maybe not by November, but maybe by the end of the year. We can take closer look.
We can find targets. You're right.
Exactly.
I like the idea of having a workshop. That'll be very beneficial for the process. And I want to get my head around the budget well before the holidays, so I can think about it all the time.
So why don't you,
Set a date,
I don't know if we want to, do we want to set a date tonight? I guess we can.
end of October. Calendars will fill up.
Sure, you can black Ray out. put you-
Doesn't matter to me. School committee business, my first priority above everything else, so.
It was a warm and fuzzy statement right there.
31st.
Trick or
That way I
treat.
won't have to be home for the children.
Exactly.
Nobody ever comes to my house, so that's fine. I can't.
We do have a school committee meeting on the 25th. If we're looking at that week.
Mhm.
Want to do it before then?
18th, week of 18th.
18th might be good.
Is that a
I'm
Monday?
fine with the 18th or 19th.
Yes, let me check.
I think, Carl,
Oh, what's the date again?
the end of October.
No, I'm here.
Okay.
October 18th.
It's a Monday.
It's good to me.
I'll need some, I'll be working with the administrators, getting this information.
We have a finance planning team that morning too,
What morning?
the 18th,
How about the 26th?
but that's okay.
So are the two goals for the superintendent to figure out what we're gonna do with the 6th grade study period, and then what was the other one?
Well, I don't know if we've concluded that
I
or
don't,
not,
I
but
think
I think we need to ask her for her.
Way too full.
come
Her
back and make
priorities.
recommendations on where
When
we,
come back.
But
Where-
don't we wanna take one from that list that you have, Mel, and just focus on one goal and not make it a huge?
but we need to take,
$200,000
we need to take
increase,
input from the
$300,000.
administrative staff. We can't,
I think that's.
Oh, we
what
can't
budget workshop's for.
prioritize it?
well, we can, but
I have to collect that information to find out what has been cut over the last 4 years, talking with
Yeah.
the administrators. They have, and with Carl, trying to figure out what's been cut.
Yeah.
And then bringing that
Yeah.
together, and then the administrators need to have an opportunity to say what would be a priority as well.
Mel, there's a question from the.
Deanna?
I just wanted to clarify, Mike, you've been talking about the 6th grade study halls.
Yep.
And I want to assure you that that's happening in the 7th grade, and it's likely happening in the 8th grade as well. It's not just a 6th grade phenomenon. I have my
Oh, really?
7th grade schedule in 3 days out of 6.
I think that, and I
3
think
days out of
this,
6 and the 7th also? Gee.
no, the 6th grade may even be a bigger problem though, because they don't have foreign language. So they have both the arts program shortage and then the foreign language doesn't exist at the 6th grade.
One thing I wanted to mention to you, just because you just picked up on that, because there isn't enough of the foreign language options in the general arts area, you have students, for example, that have a foreign language this semester,
Mhm.
and they may not have it for the next 3. So by the time they get into a year from now, and finally get it every single day,
pointless.
what are they going to?
That's the 7th grade, right?
That's correct.
And then the 8th grade, I think they have it all year.
They do.
But again,
So
it,
it's not optimum.
right. We don't even
Okay.
have a full
Not even
language program
minimal.
in 7th grade. So should we do it on the 18th of October, Monday? I'd say 6 and have pizza, but then,
Is there any way we could do it the week after that?
How about the 26th?
well, we have a regular, don't we have a regular meeting the week after? Oh,
25th.
I see what you're
How
saying.
about the 26th?
26th?
We have athletic subcommittee that day. But
That's
that's in
it.
the afternoon. 26th is fine.
Okay.
Secondary School Building Committee is meeting on the
19th.
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 right?
So that would really
The
Like to
26th
focus on
of
that
October
restoration.
at 6 p.m.
Both
What
study
time are we?
halls, but
What
Is
time?
that-